Hey everybody, so I'm in Chiang Mai, Thailand right now on another one of my half work, half vacation trips. So I've been using the LG G8X dual screen as my main phone for the past 2 days now, and it's been very practical because, as you already know, this phone has 2 screens, and this is my first time in Chiang Mai, so I'm not too familiar with the city, so I've had to navigate a lot. So throughout this trip, I will have Google Maps open on one screen, while on the second screen, I will have either WhatsApp or Gmail open because I'm still doing work. Now, of course, the LG G8X is not the first device this year to offer this idea of more screen that actually folds up and fits into your pocket. LG's cross-tongue rival Samsung released the Galaxy Fold a month ago, and I've been using this on me too. This is my second phone. So I figure since I have both of these Korean foldable phones on me, might as well do a video comparing the two devices. Now I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking this is not a fair comparison because the Galaxy Fold is technically a lot more impressive. It's more cutting edge technology because it is a single screen that folds in half. Whereas the LG G8X is old school. It's 2 screens stitched together. But you know what? I think most average consumers don't care that much about buying the latest, most cutting edge tech. Instead, they want something that offers good value and it's practical. And I think if you take into account these two things, the LG G8X actually has a very compelling case against the Galaxy Fold. It's a hell lot cheaper and it's more durable too, because sometime during this trip, I'm probably gonna go to the beach or go dirt bike riding or something. And I'm pretty sure I'm not going to bring the Galaxy Fold on me because that would be suicide to bring a Galaxy Fold to the beach. But the LG G8X, I'm pretty sure I can bring with me and it'll survive the trip just fine. Okay, so if you're not familiar with what the LG G8X dual screen is, I actually made a pretty in-depth first look video about a month ago. I'll have the link in my description below if you're interested in checking that out. So basically, in a nutshell, this is a LG flagship phone that attaches to a second screen accessory to give you 2 screens. Now, the obvious benefit to this, as I already mentioned, is you can run 2 apps side by side. This allows for really easy multitasking, where you can run Maps and Instagram on one side, or if you do a lot of accounting, you can have a calculator app on one side and then have a spreadsheet of all the numbers you need to add up on the other screen. Now, of course, the Fold has a major benefit. It's because this is one large screen. So when you're reading a website or watching a YouTube video, it's just a lot more immersive than on the LG G8X, where ultimately it's 2 screens stitched together with a giant plastic bezel in the middle. Now, of course, both of these phones are great for gaming for different reasons. The Galaxy Fold is great, obviously, because you're getting one large screen. So when you're playing games, everything just looks a little bit more immersive because it's larger. But on the LG G8X, you don't get a larger screen, but you can use that second screen as a virtual digital joystick. And I actually prefer that for some games like Street Fighter 4, because being able to use a secondary screen as a joystick allows me to pull off moves and do all that, like, you know, gaming without my hands actually covering part of the action, like on the Galaxy Fold. And also, I play a lot of N64 emulation, and for the games that I personally like to play, like Mario Kart or WWF No Mercy, it actually runs a lot better on an LG G8X with a separate on-screen control instead of on the Fold, where the control is part of the graphics. Like, again, my hands cover the screen as I'm gaming. So now, in terms of one-hand usability and ease of use, I think the Galaxy Fold wins because you have a screen right here. So that means when I'm walking around the city out and about, I can just pull the Fold out of my pocket, and then there's a screen up front that I can immediately use. I can immediately, like, you know, answer WhatsApp, go on the web, open Google Maps, all of that. Although this screen is a little bit cramped. Now with the LG G8X, it's quite a bit more difficult, if not impossible, to do with one hand, because when I pull the phone out of my pocket, it is like this, and you basically cannot open up this phone with one hand. So you always need a second hand. Everybody's different, but for me, I don't always have a second hand that's free because I walk around a lot, and sometimes I'm holding groceries with the other hand, or I'm holding a cup of coffee. And in that situation, then I just cannot use this phone. I need a second hand to open up the screen before I can start using this device. So just on one hand usability, straight out of the pocket, the Galaxy Fold, it's easier. Now, of course, once the LG G8X is opened up, then it's a much more desirable one-hand experience than the Galaxy Fold because I get a proper smartphone screen. So now if I want to go on WhatsApp, I can actually, still type pretty easily. If I want to open Google Maps on this, I can still get like a pretty sizable display. Whereas on the Samsung Galaxy Fold, this screen is really small, so this is usable, but it's still not that ideal. And likewise, if you're in WhatsApp and you're trying to chat, it's a little bit tough to type. And you can read Chrome okay, but it's still not ideal. Now, if you want to open up the Fold, then I guess this is fine, but I find this form factor a little bit hard to hold with one hand securely, especially when you live in a hectic city like Hong Kong. Like if someone bumps into me right now, this phone's gonna come flying out of my hand. So for the Galaxy Fold, it is better to use it in this form factor with one hand. Now in terms of camera performance, the Galaxy Fold has an extra camera. It's a telephoto zoom lens. So if you want to take zoom photos, then the Galaxy Fold will be better by default. But if you're just taking normal photos or wide angle photos, they're very, very similar. The Galaxy Fold's wide angle camera has a wider field of vision, but there's a little bit more distortion. Meanwhile, if you're talking about this main camera, they're very similar. They're both 12 megapixel lens. The Galaxy Fold tends to pull in more light, but it also overexposes a lot more easily than the LG G8X. Now in terms of video performance, they both have about similar abilities in stabilization and color accuracy. I think the Galaxy Fold is slightly better in low light video performance, but otherwise these cameras are very, very similar. Now as far as battery life, the Galaxy Fold's battery life is really strong. I've already covered this in my review. There's a 4,380 milliamp hour battery, and it's been enough to last me basically through an entire day from when I wake up to at night. And it's been like this for all month now, so I'm a heavy user, so battery life on this is excellent. Now the LG G8X's battery is not as good as the Galaxy Fold, but still surprisingly good. Now there's a 4,000 milliamp hour battery on the phone, which powers both screens. So when I first got this phone to test, I thought that it wouldn't be enough to power both screens all day, but much to my surprise, it almost can last an entire day. Yesterday, for example, I had a really, really heavy day. I unplugged the phone at about 10:30 a.m. at 100%, and I rented a car and I drove around Chiang Mai with this phone as my navigation. And then on top of that, I was constantly using this phone to take photos, videos, and talking to my girlfriend and all that. And it still gave me about 7 hours of screen on time. As you can see right here, I grabbed the screenshot yesterday. I'm at almost 6 hours of screen on time and 11 and a half hours of using the phone, and I still had 19% battery life left. And this phone basically lasted me another 2 hours on top of that. It didn't quite last me all day though. I left the Airbnb at 11 a.m. in the morning, and I got back late that night, past midnight. So it was basically 13 hours out, and it kind of died on me right before I was about to get back. So basically lasted 12 and a half hours of heavy use, like navigation, WhatsApp, phone, streaming videos, all that. So under a normal day, it should be fine. It will last you all day. Okay, so after using the LG G8X and Galaxy Fold for a couple more days, I noticed a couple more quirks. So one of the things I like to do is I like to take pictures a lot of random things on the streets, and the Galaxy Fold just allows me to do that a lot easier because there's a small screen on the front. So as soon as I pull it out of my pocket, I can take a picture. Whereas on the Galaxy Fold, I have to open it up before I can take a photo, so that takes an extra second. But then conversely, the LG G8X is also a lot more durable. So factoring all of that, each phone has a strength and each phone has its weaknesses. So basically, if you only care about multitasking, running two apps side by side, then the LG G8X is better because no matter what app you're thinking of, you can have both of them open at the same time. On the Galaxy Fold, not every app is compatible with split screen. So there are just certain apps you cannot open. But if multitasking is not that big of a priority and you want something that's more better for media consumption, like for example, if you're on Instagram and let's say you're checking out a cute girl, or if you're a lady, you're checking out a cute boy, Instagram just looks a lot better on a larger tablet size screen than on a standard smartphone screen. So that's something the Galaxy Fold can do that the LG G8X just cannot do. But like I said, each phone can do something the other one cannot do. But ultimately, you also have to take into account pricing. The Galaxy Fold starts at $2,000 US, The LG G8X starts at $699 US. So that's a difference of 1,300 American dollars. That's a hell lot of money. And I think for most average consumers, the LG G8X is probably a better value, because for 700 bucks you get a flagship phone with a second screen attachment, whereas the Galaxy Fold is $2,000 and you don't know how long it will last. Now, I've been using the Fold heavily for a month and it's fine, but I think ultimately it's still not as durable as a typical smartphone, right? So these are things you have to take into account. So anyway, that's it for now. I think I have to get off the bus soon. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and also consider subscribing to my channel. I'm gonna have more content on the LG G8X dual screen soon, including a full review of just the device, standalone review. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.